I actually have a couple of things I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
So let's get into, this is your first time here. So I want to get into your whole story. You touched on some of it, but I kind of want to do, kind of the big picture. So you were born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you moved to the U.S. at 10?
Yeah, like 10, 11 I moved in.
10, 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did your parents immigrate over?
So there was always like certain parts of my family that was like here and in the UK. And I had an aunt here and an uncle here. And pretty much what happened is my mom was a school teacher. Dad was a principal. Okay. And my dad and mom went through a divorce. My mom was staying with my dad at, it was like when you're a principal in Jamaica, they pretty much, they give you a house. It's called a cottage or whatever the case is, right? So they break up. My mom is leaving, right? Now, we're really from the country. So we're from the countryside we call it a state here, but it's called a parish there, called Clarendon. So she was thinking, well, I've been living in like a city type area with this guy who's my husband. I got 2 kids with him, and she had another kid as well. Why should I move back she didn't really want to move back to like the countryside to go live back with her mom, which is my grandma. She had an opportunity to come up here and just try to figure it out almost, right? And she said, hey, listen, I'm going to have my 2 kids, which is me and my brother, right? Go live with my grandma and my other half brother who was still living there. We all go live there. She comes over here and she just starts working like 3 jobs, trying to like, it's a typical immigrant story. Like we didn't even know what's going on.
Jamaican mother right there.
Like I think she just came over here and just honestly just like, and again, the story's already written, is just overstayed her visa and it was just like, we're going to figure it out, and she was working 3 jobs. We thought she was fucking rich because she was like in Jamaica, like living in the countryside. Like your family was sending out these big barrels of just supplies. It was like just think about Fortnite, it's like a supply drop. You know what I mean? And like she would send all these things down, and we're like, your mom got to be loaded in America. You know what I mean? We'd also come in, at least from that time in Jamaica, hearing the story of America. They didn't even call it America; they call it foreign. Like it was so glamorized. We heard that you basically could buy vehicles for nothing. Everything was just fucking amazing. I'm gonna be so honest with you. As a child, right? As a child, the story of what the United States was so glamorized and it was so oversold to someone who came from a countryside in Jamaica that before the first time I ever came here, because I came to visit once or twice, then I came and we never went back. I thought when the plane took off from Jamaica, I thought we were gonna land on the fucking clouds. They made it seem like heaven. I kid you not. I'm serious.
No, I'm a Russian immigrant. I feel you. We were going through the same thing, which is why we moved.
Yeah. So that was the whole thing of, okay, great. So life is just better there. And my mom brought us over and we would stay with like my aunt who was a little bit more established. She had a husband at that time. And I guess, she was trying to like have her own life. So it was like, hey, you can't have the sisters and the sisters staying with you while you're trying to have your family. So my mom got a place with like a guy she was like seeing at the time. And when we first came over to like live, because we always went in the summertime when we were off school. We come during the winter time to like, she had just like gotten through some citizenship stuff. Like back then, like, I don't know if it still happened now, and hopefully, Trump probably fucked it up. But like you find some dude, get a little marriage going on real quick. After that, you fake it out. You go to the immigration thing. You answer a bunch of questions. You rehearse it, right? Mm-hmm. And listen, you just kind of finesse it that you can get your citizenship. And then this is how immigrants usually do it. You file for your kids. So if you got kids, you bring your kids with you. And if you can bring other relatives, there's a process of filing for their like, citizenship or green card, whatever. You try to bring as many people you can over here, right? Yeah. So she brought us over here. Now I remember getting off the plane at JFK. And it was sleet. And I've never been here in the wintertime. And it was probably, it just told me that whatever you thought America was, ain't it. Because I remember watching, we only had like 2 stations on our TV in Jamaica, and living where I was living at. And snow looks so beautiful. There's these puffy little things coming down. It looks so fucking beautiful.
Till you actually come in contact with it. It's all fucking.
And when the plane fucking landed, I said, what is this fucking disgusting shit? Now, okay, cool. Get off the plane. I'm like, all right, you got to give this thing a chance. And we pull up to where my mom is now staying with the guy she's seeing. And it's a fucking 2-bedroom apartment in like it's like a quadplex. So we have people living up top, to the left. There's all type of shit going on. And it's 2 bedrooms. And my mom, the guy she's with, my oldest brother, and me and my second brother. So I'm the youngest.
5 people.
5 people.
2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms. And I'm like, I thought this shit was paradise. Now, keep in mind, again, we were never rich in Jamaica. Never rich. But we didn't understand even what poverty was. So maybe it's middle class. And I'll give you an example. Living in the countryside, we probably had like 10, 20 acres. Like we just had a lot of land. We had orange trees, we had cows, pigs, goats, chicken, everything, livestock. You didn't really necessarily need to work. The government would actually pay for like coffee. That's actually a product that you grew. So like you don't really know what necessarily poverty is. Like you could survive off your land, you could kill like, the animals, like you keep breeding them, kill them, you always got food. We lived in a house that was pretty big. Everybody had their own room. I come to the US, we're tripling up in one bed. I'm like, yo, what's going on? You know what I mean? So again, it was just a story of kind of like quickly realizing like the stories of what you heard that the United States was ain't it. And you got to cut it out. And this whole, you think you've made it because you got there. No, the work just started.